you a Saturday morning cartoon. The words sound familiar. The voice sounds like me young. Did I say that? As it turns out, I had done that. But I did not know all about it. So that happens occasionally. Yes. And you wear the uniform well.
Silly question and a serious question. Silly question, do you ever feel like you're in competition for with Ian McKellen on Dirty Old Man, Sexy?
Ian McKellen is a wonderful Shakespearean actor, well, wonderful actor without any adjectives, and I have great admiration for him. And but sexy is not an adjective I would have. Although my orientation goes that way, it's not the Ian McKellen kind of orientation.
I'd love to do more than one question with you. But if you could talk a little bit more about Allegiance and your work there and just how that differs from working in TV and that kind of stuff.
Thank you for asking that. You gave me the opportunity for a plug here.
That was the point.
Thank you very much for that. As I said, I spent 4 years of my childhood, from 5 to 8, behind American barbed wire fences, simply because, and if, there were no charges, so you couldn't bring it to a trial. And due process is one of the core pillars of our justice system, but that disappeared. I remember one morning, my parents got us up very early and hurriedly dressed us, my younger brother and my baby sister. And my brother and I happened to be in the living room looking out the front window, and I saw 2 soldiers come marching up the driveway with bayonets on their rifles, stopped at the front porch and backed on the front door. My father answered it, and we were ordered out of our own homes at gunpoint. And so I picked up the luggage that my parents had prepared for me, and we were outside. My mother was the last to come out. She was holding my baby sister in one arm and a big duffel bag in the other. And I saw that tears were streaming down her cheek. We were taken from that home. The camps weren't built yet. So they took us to a nearby racetrack, San Benito racetrack, for those of you who know Southern California. And herded over to the horse stall. And our whole family, all 5 of us, were forced to sleep in a narrow horse stall, still smelling of horse manure, from a 2-bedroom home with a front yard and a backyard to a narrow horse stall and guarded over by armed guards. For my parents, it was the most degrading, humiliating, and painful experience. And we were there for a couple of months, and then we were transferred to the swamps of southeastern Arkansas, a camp called Roar. This story is an important story for Americans, that our Constitution can be so fragile. And yet, in 1994, when I wrote my autobiography and went on a national book tour, I was surprised by the fact that so many people that seem educated, otherwise well-informed, east of the Rockies, people on the West Coast knew about the internment because they saw the Japanese Americans being taken away. But east of the Rockies, people said, I had no idea something like that happened here in the United States. And for Americans to not know about that chapter of our history places the future of our country in jeopardy, because we can repeat that again. And it's so important that we founded a museum, the Japanese American National Museum in Los Angeles. The museum is located in Los Angeles, but it's a national museum. We're affiliated with the Smithsonian, and we send our exhibits all over the country. And I've gone on speaking tours to universities and corporations and governmental agencies speaking on the internment. But the most effective way to tell that story is through drama, and particularly musical drama, because music hits the heart more profoundly, and it can compress time. Love can happen in a shorter time in a musical. And I met an extraordinarily gifted young composer lyricist from San Francisco, Jay Cole. And so together we've, with Lorenzo Dione, a wonderful theatrical writer, and Marcus Cito, we put together this musical called Allegiance. It's based on the internment experience of a family, not my family. It's a fictional family. I was too young to really understand that experience as profoundly as we needed to have the characters understand. It's a story of a family that gets split in two, and the internment did fracture the Japanese-American community. When Pearl Harbor happened, thousands of young Japanese Americans, men and women, rushed to their recruitment centers, like all young Americans, to volunteer to serve. But that act of patriotism was answered with a slap in the face. They were not only denied service, but they were labeled enemy non-aliens. I mean, it's pretty bad to be called an enemy when you're volunteering to serve in the military. But also, to have that followed up with non-alien. What does that mean? That's a citizen defined in the negative, a non-alien. It was really an outrageous label. And to be imprisoned. But a year into imprisonment, the government realized there is a wartime manpower shortage. And how are we going to tackle that potential manpower?